So, welcome. This week, I want to discuss more about attachment because attachment is so deeply rooted to core wounds of us. Exiled parts that have been sectioned off have been holding attachment burdens for so long. So, generally, if we are choosing to heal, it's going to relate back to attachment in some way, shape, form, or another. Parts of you sometimes will try to bait other people for them to feel how you're feeling. You see, when we're children, let's say you're 2 years old, you really rely on other people to mirror back to you how you're feeling. So if you're crying, your eyes are looking to see, does someone see me? And you look for their facial cues and them responding in a way of, oh, you are in distress. This is so sad right now. Let me be with you. If you don't get that mirroring back of someone being with you in that experience, then there's emotional damage that takes place. There's a wound that is formed. So later on in life, you can have parts that kind of bait other people, aggravate them in different manipulative ways. So you see an emotional expression on them to mirror what you're feeling, what that part is feeling. So it's trying to recreate this experience of what it never received as a child, to have this redo in its own form and way of doing it, which is not healthy at all. And at the same time, it's what they know how to do, right? It's what they've maladapted to do. So how do you work with this, and what does this look like on everyday life as well? I mean, this could go right into like a push-pull dynamic within a relationship of the other individual wants closeness, they get close, and then they push away, they're avoidant. And then there's this rubber band effect that just keeps happening in this pattern. And it leaves another individual with a lot of self-doubt of, is this real? Does this person want the relationship? Who are they? What part is showing up? Like, who really are they? They're showing up and they want to be really close and they want intimacy, and then all of a sudden now they're pushing me away and don't want to spend time with me. I mean, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Am I worth spending time with? You can see how this starts to be a problem, right? Because it just leads to a lot of confusion and disconnection between the individuals, where one part wants to be close, and then you can look at it as a trauma response of just flight, run away, be safe, create this barrier around yourself, isolate. I'm sure a lot of people experience this, right? So, where do you find safety in the midst of this, of you realize, okay, I have some parts that are manipulative and controlling. In the moment, you don't realize that's what you're doing. You don't realize you're baiting someone to get them to mirror back what you're truly feeling, because you really need to be seen and heard and witnessed in what you're feeling. So there's no judgment here or shame whatsoever. Right? A lot of this is you don't know what you don't know. Just like Linda Tai says this of, you don't get what you didn't get. So if you never got it in childhood, this aspect of being with your nervous system to help regulate your nervous system, to be with you in the experience. If you never got that in development, then you don't get it later in life. It doesn't just magically, like, you understand it. Like, your nervous system doesn't register that. So there's going to be a process and some time to go through to develop in order to really get it. So I say all that with there's no judgment or shame in this. Just noticing that's a part in me that does this. That's it. That's the first step. This could be very dissociative of you have no idea what's going on. You don't know why you're doing it. After the situation or the experience with another individual, that you're pushing them away and bringing them back close, or you're baiting them. This other individual might approach you and say, look, my needs aren't getting met here. This is what you're doing, and I'm putting up a boundary, and I'm not going to accept this anymore. This reality check of like, wow, am I really doing that? I don't mean to be doing that, but I'm doing it. Evidently, this other person is saying I'm doing it. That can be terrifying because it activates, again, this attachment in us of like needing to attach in this healthy, safe way. And if we lose that sense of abandonment and this frightened cry of, no, please don't leave me. I need you to survive, is very real. Right? Because when you're a child, you need others in order to survive. So when you can observe this is what is occurring inside of you, without judgment. Okay? And just accepting this is reality and welcoming these parts to you that are doing this. Saying, I really want to get to know you. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm understanding more now. But I really want to know your story of why it is that you do this thing. Because that in itself is what the parts are looking for. See, they're trying to do the redo on their own, right? Because they haven't had a compassionate witness there in the experience. So when you turn to them and say, I really want to hear your story, really listening to them, they now have a compassionate witness in it. So there's no longer the need to do the redo, to try to do this role, to try to bait other people. Because you're the one replacing that other person. And this is hard. This is difficult. This is why I work with one-on-one with people for a while, to borrow their nervous system, borrow their self-energy. That's why group work is so important, to experience this, to be held by other people, so parts of you can really be seen and witnessed of, hey, I have this part that is, disorganized attachment, and it's like, 1 minute I'm avoidant, the next minute I'm anxious, I don't know what's going on, it's very confusing and chaotic. Trying that out with connection, risking that, because it's so scary and terrifying to risking it in a community of people that are doing the same thing, that are walking with you on this path of healing is a lot safer to do than in your intimate, close relationships, right? I mean, if we're talking about like gambling and risk here, it's less risky to do it around other people that they're in the same experience. They're your peers. They are experiencing the same thing you're experiencing. Like, they might not be the exact same life situations and stuff, but they're on this journey of healing. There's relation there. With the broader context of, I don't want to keep it in this small bubble of your relationship with other individual people based off of attachment style. I think here, especially in America, we have it tends to be limited to that of, this is a family structured system. How do you deal with other human beings and relate to them? Versus, what is your relationship with nature and creation? I've spoke about this a lot, but a big part of my healing journey, and continue and wherever will be, is my relationship with all of creation, with the trees and wildlife and nature and the animals. How much joy I take in with my relationship with the squirrels outside in the yard and watching them play. That connection, that attachment that is secure and healthy, that I am nourished by them. I'm taking in their beauty, their sense of play and awe and wonder and curiosity. What is your relationship with time? Being able to slow things down and live more in the present moment and be mindful. What is my relationship? Am I super anxious when I sit with myself and try to tune into these parts that want to push other people away? What comes up inside of me? Am I staring at the clock? Am I wanting to reach for something? If I haven't cultivated a relationship with time, it's really hard for me to pause long enough and sit with myself to check in with, how am I? How's my body feeling? What part is here? Part of working with parts is tuning into their needs. For a long time, I read, therapy books. And so transitioning back into reading novels was kind of strange for me, of reading story and how vital story is. It's the thread that holds everything together. So I desperately needed story, but tuning into my parts and seeing what they needed, right, led me to, okay, let's read some children's novels. I'm bringing this up because recently I finished A Wind in the Door, which comes after, it's the second book after The Wrinkle in Time. And during that book, a part that's very emphasized is where doesn't matter. You see parts of us that want to figure out the mathematical equations and have things figured out and written out. They want to know. Clinging to that attachment. It has to be this way. This other person has to act this way, do this thing, feel this need, this void inside of me. They have to do it, this specific thing. And where does it matter? You can have connection with space. You don't have to be right beside some other person, or right beside the tree, or right beside the squirrel, or the galaxies or the stars, all of creation, or God. Where doesn't matter. when you experience something, there's a sensation, there's memory, there's, visualization that happens. When you experience something, where does it matter? Time. It doesn't really matter what exact time it is, right? So my relationship with time, my relationship with thing, like place, if that can be held loosely in this safe way, just as being a child, when you are discovering boundaries and learning how to risk and develop, you are close to caregivers, people that are providing for you, keeping you safe, and then you leave them, walk away from them, and then you come back. You leave, walk away, come back. You're building your capacity in your nervous system to be able to risk, to be independent, to be on your own, and still be connected and find safety in coming back. A lot of times, that isn't developed because you don't have a safe place to really come back to, and you don't know whether it's going to be there if you leave and come back. So being able to risk as an adult is very scary, of stepping out in this new space and time, because you don't know what's going to happen, right? But really what's happening is your relationship with yourself, your attachment to yourself, your attachment to creation. Because if you don't know your identity, who you are, that you're safe no matter what happens, no matter how much I risk and I fail, when I fail, I'm not a failure. I still know my identity and who I am, and I'm still safe inside of myself. If you do not have that, it is very hard to grow and expand, and you will remain stuck. That's why this is so vitally important, to start cultivating daily of what is my relationship with time? What is my relationship with self? What is my relationship with parts of me that I don't want other people to know? How well do I know them? I might only know certain little aspects of them, and then I just want to push them away because they're too scary or overwhelming or annoying. But when they come up and start yelling in my ear or start acting out in real life, oh, well, then it's a problem again. And then I need to tune in to that just enough to get them to go away. Attachment is so vital because I believe, this is my belief, is we as human beings were designed to attach. It's part of who we are. So, hopefully that helps some people and gives you some things to think about and ponder on. And if this is all new, or you've heard this many times, and you're still, there's still things that you would like to work on and heal, just know that you're right on time. Like right where you need to be. Your nervous system has the capacity to be here. You're not late in the story, and you're not early. You're right on time. So, thank you again for being here with this experience, for sharing this space with me.